Story 1. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she called me just the fun aunt? My 28 female sister, 34 female, and I have always been close, or so I thought. She has 3 kids, 9 female, 6 male, 3 male, and a husband, 36 male, who works long hours, so naturally, I've stepped in to help when I can. I adore my niece and nephews, and I've always tried to be there for them, whether it's hosting sleepovers, taking them on fun outings, or just helping my sister get a break. But lately, I've felt taken for granted. I work a demanding job, and although I don't have kids myself, my free time is limited. Despite this, I've rearranged my schedule countless times to babysit, sometimes at the last minute because my sister swears she has no one else. I never ask for money or anything in return because, well, family. Last week, my sister called me in a panic because she had an unexpected work event. She needed someone to watch the kids, and once again, I stepped up. I left work early, canceled dinner plans with my boyfriend, and drove 45 minutes to her house. When she got home later that night, I overheard her on the phone with her husband. She didn't realize I was still there, cleaning up the tornado of toys her kids had left behind. She said something along the lines of, "Oh, don't worry about it. My name will always help. She's just the fun aunt with no real responsibilities. It's not like she has anything better to do." I froze. I waited for her to hang up, then asked her if she really believed that. She laughed awkwardly and said I was overreacting, insisting she didn't mean it like that. She said she was just stressed and, of course, she appreciated me, but it didn't feel genuine. I left shortly after and didn't bring it up again until she texted me a few days later, asking if I could babysit the kids this weekend. I responded, "Sorry, I can't. You'll have to find someone else." She called me immediately, upset, and asked why I was being so selfish. I told her I didn't appreciate being taken for granted or being seen as someone with no real responsibilities. She got defensive, saying I was twisting her words and punishing her kids over something she didn't mean. Now my parents are involved. They think I'm overreacting and should forgive and forget because family helps family. But I'm exhausted. I love my niece and nephews, but I can't keep dropping everything to help someone who doesn't value my time. My sister is now furious with me, claiming I'm abandoning her kids out of spite. Am I the a-hole for standing my ground? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. If it's convenient and you want to see the kids, great. If you are tired or have plans, no is a complete sentence. She made a decision to use you and is now upset because you found out. Those who are chiming in can be used, I mean babysit. Not the a-hole. Time to remind your sister that those are her kids and that hiring a babysitter exists. There are apps and the like for that crap available on the very phone she was talking to her husband on. Also remind her that you have a life, even if you don't have children, and that if you're always looking after her crotch goblins, how are you supposed to have a family of your own? Point this out to your parents too. They all need to remember that you are a person too, not a service. Good heavens, she drives 45 minutes to do this? Sister is seriously taking advantage. Parents need to get a grip. They can step up themselves, since family helps family. Hell no. Not the a-hole. It's selfish to expect someone else to drop everything, including impacting on your job, relationship, so she can do what she pleases, so to have the absolute cheek to then make fun of you. I'd be furious. She chose to have them, she's responsible for them. If she wants to be away from her kids, she can pay a babysitter and hopefully treat them with more respect than she has you. Exactly this. I'm all for helping family and friends, but you should not be jeopardizing your career or your own relationships to keep saving your sisters. She's clearly taking advantage of you and will keep doing so for as long as you let this happen. Take a step back and look after yourself. You're not the a-hole. You have every right to stand up for your time and not let her take you for granted. It sounds like you've been more than generous, and she needs to understand that. I'd also add, if the parents are so focused on sis getting support, then they can volunteer to watch her kids for her. Nah, you don't owe her anything, and I'd never cancel plans or leave work early for her again. From now on, if and when you want to start helping occasionally again, it must never interrupt your life, and even if you had just planned to have an easy night with a book or film and was looking forward to it, then don't do it unless it totally suits you. Right now, she needs you to step back totally for a while until she realizes how much you did for her and starts appreciating you properly and never thinks she has the right to take advantage of you. That she truly apologizes. As for your parents, tell the clearly you said no once after years of dropping everything for her night and day. That it's disgusting they can all treat you like this, like you have no life nor a say in your life for her. That clear, they only want you to do this so they don't have to bother themselves and babysit for her. That it suits them when you're the mug, but no more, you have the right to say Joe just like they do. That if they think she must be supported blindly, then it's on them to be the ones to do so, if that's what they think. That they can't tell you to put her demands above your life, but not put her before theirs. That it's disgusting all you did for her and how many times you upset people canceling your plans last minute for her. How many times you had to impact your work by leaving early or taking days off. How many weeks you went from work to watching her kids the whole weekend and straight back to work the next week without any sort of break, and not once did you complain. Yet she didn't give a damn, nor appreciate you, nor anything you did for her. That you saying no and putting boundaries in place does not impact nor punish the kids in any way? That it's only her selfish bum it inconveniences, as now she's responsible for sorting her own childcare. That even if you do help out again in the future, it will be far less, and never again will you cancel or rearrange plans, nor interrupt your work. That date nights with your boyfriend will not get canceled again for her, as he is important to you and actually treats you with respect. That even when you do babysit for her at some point in the future, it will only be when you want to, and it suits you. If anyone doesn't like that, then you don't give a damn, as it's not your problem, and you won't be taken for a mug again. Not the a-hole. This is a classic F around and find out situation. Your time matters, and just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you don't have obligations. The problem here is that you've always made yourself available, and not a single one of them knows or cares about what you put aside to help them. I say this as someone who used to do the same, and I am in no way criticizing you because I know it came from a place of love. But you need to stop dropping things for them and face it head on. They don't see you as an adult. Tell your sister you're just going to be fun, but for yourself, since she can't appreciate you. You're 28 years old, for God's sake, not a teenager. Tell your parents they obviously don't see you as family, and more like free help for your sister, and they should feel ashamed for using that trite, tired bum line on you, instead of telling your sister she was wrong. They may not care about you, but you will do that for yourself. They're only complaining because you're not providing a service versus the loss of your actual companionship. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not putting my husband's name on gifts I bought on my own? Throwaway account because I don't want him to see this. I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 29 male, for 3 years, and we've been together since we were 18 and 19. The first 2 years we had been together, when we were still pretty young and our relationship was new, we bought Christmas gifts separately, except in some rare cases. But when we got pretty serious, we started making gifts from the both of us to other people. Since then, he has not once helped me buy the gifts. That includes gifts for my family, our friends, but even gifts for his family. Occasionally, he would give me some ideas as to what the person would want, but that was still pretty rare, and the ideas he gave were most of the time very vague. And even when he gave me ideas, I was the one that bought the gifts and went Christmas shopping alone. I was fine with it at the beginning, as I really enjoyed gift giving and finding the perfect ideas for everyone, but it's been 8 years of this, and it's getting pretty exhausting. I've also evolved in my career since we got together, and now have way less free time to spend buying gifts. So last year I asked before the holiday season if he could help this year, and we'd each buy some of the presents. Out of maybe 20 people we bought gifts for, he bought only one. And he told me that he would take care of it until the very last minute, but eventually forgot. So I had to buy his sister and mother a present less than 24 hours before Christmas. After that, I told him that I now expected help because this could not happen again, as it was mentally and physically exhausting for me. So this year I bought half of the gifts, and he was supposed to buy the other half. He didn't. Yesterday, I spent 7 hours at the mall trying to find the rest of the gifts, and he was no help. I sometimes called him to ask if the person would like a gift, if they already had it, or what he thought, and he mostly said, "I don't know, maybe," and whatever. I also have to add that I'm 6 months pregnant, so this was extremely exhausting. When I got home, I was angry and tired, and while wrapping the presents, I decided that since he didn't help at all, I wouldn't put his name on the presents. Usually we write something like, "From Mary and John," not our real names, but I just wrote "From Mary." Today, as we were packing all the gifts in the car to go to his parents' house, he noticed that his name wasn't on it. I explained it to him and said that he didn't help, so he didn't get credit for what I bought. He keeps saying that it's unfair and that I'm gonna make him look bad and asks that I change it. I don't know if I should. Maybe this is petty, but I don't know what else to do. I've asked for help many times, and I'm just afraid he's never going to change. Should I put his name? Am I mean for this? How can I make him understand how much I need help? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, I just wouldn't buy them. Make sure your family is sorted, and let him explain it to his. I almost did. But I love my in-laws, and they've always been really good to me, and I feel like it would make their Christmas kind of sad, and I wouldn't want them to get the consequences of his actions. It's not really fair to me. That's great that you have a great relationship with your in-laws, but to make this whole thing fair for you, you should just make a new rule that the other commenter mentioned, that you buy gifts for your family and he buys for his. And when he doesn't hold up his end of the bargain and doesn't buy anything, do not give in. When you show up empty-handed, you tell your in-laws the truth. It's 100% on him. Sometimes we just have to let go of what we can't control to make things easier on ourselves. Not the a-hole. You've been carrying this responsibility for him for far too long and have gotten far too resentful for it to be healthy. Next year, you will have the additional responsibility of a child, in addition to the one you married. From my perspective, the best solution is to stop wasting hours shopping at the mall and just give people a combo token gift card combination. Examples: set of wine glasses and a bottle of wine, a box of movie snacks with DVDs or movie tickets, a baseball cap with tickets to a game, etc. Gift giving should not be this stressful, expensive, or time-consuming. If your husband has opted out, just make it easy on yourself by taking the approach I just suggested. As long as you choose things the person likes, it is a thoughtful gift. And it is enough. It's called weaponized incompetence. Every sucks here in this case as op is enabling it. Not the a-hole, he's acting like a child, and you're acting like his mom. A mom takes a kid to the mall last minute to shop for gifts. The mom decides what gifts to buy. The mom wraps the gifts. The mom then writes the child's name on the gift. Stop treating him like a child and let him suffer the consequences of his own actions like a grown man. The humiliation should get him sooner or later, and unlike the gifts, only his name belongs on the guilt, not yours, not the a-hole. He should be embarrassed. He's your partner, and you asked for help, and he refused. Maybe it will take his family having just your name on the gifts to make him realize he needs to put some effort in. We are similar here, except we've been married 11 years. This year I flat out didn't buy for anyone in his family, except my niece and nephew because they're kids and it felt mean not to. And I told him he had to do it. It's deck 22 and I know he bought nothing. So we will show up empty-handed, and if anyone says anything, I'll flat out tell them it was my husband's turn this year to buy gifts. It's not even about actually giving a gift. It's about how these men can't seem to put effort into anyone or anything else that doesn't interest them. My husband has no problem spending time and effort doing things that benefit him, but has no time to do things for others, and I'm sick of it. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom to stop letting my brother get away with stuff just because he's autistic? I, 18 female, am the youngest out of 3 siblings. My oldest brother, 22 male, has autism. He doesn't understand like everyone else does and is extremely smart in certain categories. Feelings are not one of them. He doesn't understand when he does something wrong, and when he doesn't get his way, things get out of hand. My father has been on my side for most of this. My brother, who we'll call Leo, always got his way. He has one-cell iPhone, 3 iPads, a computer, a laptop, a PlayStation, Xbox, Wii, etc. I, on the other hand, have 1 iPhone and that's it. When he gets angry, he smashes and breaks his stuff. We have had to replace electronics more than I can count. I tell my mom not to give in, but she tells me off. She always has the same excuse. Your brother is autistic, he doesn't understand. Or, when you grow up you can get a job and start a family, he can't. And yes, the family thing is true, but she shouldn't give in all the time. I tell her he's not going to learn or that he doesn't deserve it. I asked her for a monitor for my birthday, and instead I got books. She made up the excuse that we didn't have the money, but the same day she gets him a new iPad, which was over $1,500. I realized that that's the reason she said no, was so she could get him that on my birthday. Recently, my family has yelled at me for being inconsiderate and selfish, for expressing how I feel. I don't know if I should stop trying to speak out and try to stop them from giving in to his behavior. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to be treated fairly? Now for the comments. Professional here. Not the a-hole. Your brother understands more than you may think. One of those things being that he can destroy things and get them replaced. Your mother is reinforcing negative behaviors and it's clearly working. She needs to stop replacing things, painfully get through what we call an extinction burst, and then move along. Now, if any of those devices are used for communication, obviously replace them, but with stipulations. Your mother is not making excuses for your brother. She's making excuses for herself, probably because it is overwhelming at times. You are not selfish for expressing your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Also know, though, that you will never be treated equally. Having an intellectual and/or developmental disability or any disability sets someone up to be in a world not made for them. Your brother will always have things done differently because society still lacks the ability to adapt. Again, though, not the a-hole. You can express yourself in constructive and kind ways, while also pointing out that you would like to be treated with more consideration as a human. Absolutely agree with this. The concept of an extinction burst is crucial here. When someone is used to certain behaviors yielding results like breaking things and having them replaced, they escalate those behaviors when the cycle is interrupted. It's tough, but breaking that pattern can lead to real change. Your feelings are 100% valid, and it's okay to want fairness in how you're treated. The reality is, caregiving is challenging, and your mom might feel overwhelmed and default to easier solutions in the moment. But addressing the root of the behavior is essential for everyone's well-being. Advocating for yourself while being compassionate is a great step forward, not the a-hole at all. To add to this, I have ADHD and dated a woman with a nonverbal autistic child. I'm the type that is overly observant and analytical. So, imagine my surprise when I fully caught him manipulating her with certain behaviors. Very careful not to overstep my boundaries, I discussed with her a change in the patterns of her own behavior as far as her reaction to him that he was used to garnering, and lo and behold, a whole different child started to emerge. She also discovered that this kid could fully fake a very convincing autistic meltdown that included shaking as if he was about to have a seizure. Changing her response to it, by not giving him the desired one he was after, completely altered his ability to manipulate what he wanted out of her. This kid was 8, and never spoke, wore diapers, and went from trying to bite you to using more sign language, tantrums at a minimal, and he was advancing in potty training. They are quite capable of more than they let you think they are. Not the a-hole. Your mother isn't doing him or the world any favors. Also, make sure she doesn't plan on you being his caretaker after she is gone. You need to talk to your dad and make sure they have a plan in place, besides you, to take care of him when they are gone, such as a group home or something. I completely agree. It's crucial that your parents have a realistic and sustainable plan for his future care that doesn't default to you. Caregiving is a huge responsibility, and it's unfair to assume you'll take it on without discussing it. Encouraging them to explore options like group homes or long-term care facilities is essential for everyone's well-being, including his. Sounds like he is smart enough to get a job, but doesn't have to, so hasn't. The parents are setting him up to fail in life by not forcing him to adapt to society, but trying to force everyone to adapt to him. There will come a time where they have had enough or can't afford to keep indulging him, and it will probably be too late for him to actually be able to get work and be able to look after himself. I have a friend who sounds like he was like OP's brother, but his enabling mom died when he was 18 and got a rude shock when his dad was running things. Suddenly, he was forced to adapt. He managed to get into software development and eventually became a software architect and did craploads of coding and managed to excel. People can learn behaviors and coping mechanisms if forced to. It sounds like OP's brother is just doing what they want and having meltdowns and getting rewarded for them. So why would they change? Sounds like when change is forced, it will be way too late for them to actually thrive in life and will live a miserable existence where their ingrained behaviors will no longer be tolerated, meaning isolation and probably very, very poor quality of life. As an autistic person myself, you're not the a-hole. I hope you can get out of there as soon as possible, genuinely. I also hope this holiday season brings you everything you want. Stay strong. Not the a-hole. This is when you start telling your parents that you will not be responsible for your older brother after they die. Your parents are under the impression that your brother will always be catered to by relatives when in reality it's done by them and just them. Make it clear that you have no intention of coddling your brother for the rest of your life. Graduate, leave, and never look back. Good luck.
Thank you for listening. If you like the video, consider like and subscribe. If you want more stories like these, turn on your notification to receive the latest stories.